The Toronto Blue Jays are apparently the team that is most likely to overpay for someone this offseason. According to Bob Nightingale, they will have no choice but to overpay free agents, with players well aware that Guerrero and Bichette could be gone. This is why no one believes Soto is coming their way unless they dramatically outbid the Mets. Now, the second part of that sentence referencing Soto, we're going to talk about later in this video, but the idea that the Toronto Blue Jays are going to be overpaying for people, to some might feel like a bad thing, but to me, considering it's not my money, kind of excites me. We recently heard from Jeff Passan that the Toronto Blue Jays are going to get a guy this winter and that they can't be discounted from anyone. Considering they are going to get a guy and considering they're going to overpay, it is looking increasingly likely that the Toronto Blue Jays will be leaving this winter with a top-tier talent. The biggest question now is, who is that guy going to be? What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel. In this one, we're going to discuss the latest Blue Jays free agency rumors as we continue to get closer to the winter meetings. Before we do, I encourage you guys to hit the like and smash the subscribe button if you enjoy Blue Jays content and discussion so you don't miss any future videos. All right, folks, let's get into it. So I want to start off by circling back to that quote from Bob Nightingale about Juan Soto. Juan Soto was always going to be a long shot for the Toronto Blue Jays, and if I truly had to bet my life on it right now, I would say that he's gonna be a New York Met. However, that hasn't stopped the Toronto Blue Jays from making an offer. Sports Illustrated writes, after meeting with teams last week, MLB Network's John Morosi confirmed a report from NJ.com's Randy Miller, which stated 5 teams had made offers for Soto's services. Those teams include the Los Angeles Dodgers, New York Yankees, New York Mets, Boston Red Sox, and Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays, if they have any hope of bringing Soto to Toronto, will need to make an astronomical offer to him, especially considering all the teams that they are stacked up against. But I guess the good thing for Toronto is they have a bit of an idea as to what offer he might be looking for. Ryan M. Spader tweeted out recently that Juan Soto is seeking a 12 to 14 year deal for $45 million per season, with opt-outs after the 3rd and 4th seasons. If the Blue Jays actually want to win the Juan Soto sweepstakes, then creating a deal that has a high average annual value and then includes various different incentives and opt-outs could be the way to actually convince him to come to Toronto. If they miss out on Juan Soto, though, which, let's face it, is probably going to happen, then there are still quite a few talented players on the market that could help them fill out that lineup, and a recent report has suggested that the Blue Jays are very excited about one of them. Sam Conan writes, while rumors continue to swirl about the Blue Jays' interest in Juan Soto and Max Fried, USA Today's Bob Nightingale reported Monday that they badly covet Anthony Santander. Now, Santander is a name that we've talked about on this channel quite a bit before, and that's just because the fit makes so much sense for Toronto. Santander is coming off of a season where he hit 44 bombs, had over 100 RBIs, and finished with an OPS of 814. The Blue Jays just simply do not have a guy like that in their lineup, and if you could have him batting behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr., finally giving him that protection that he used to have with Teo and Lourdes, I mean, the results are bound to come. I think it's also important to note that by signing Anthony Santander, you're effectively stealing away a very valuable asset from one of your division rivals, the Baltimore Orioles. You bring in their guy, they lose their guy, which is kind of just the cherry on top of what would already be a pretty good deal. And speaking of stealing players away from your division rivals, let's talk about Gleyber Torres.
Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now, everyone, back to the content.
Torres has been with the Yankees for 7 years and now finally is a free agent on the open market. Now, when Torres first debuted, the first couple seasons of him in MLB were fantastic. You know, he finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting and then followed that up by having a season of 38 home runs. Sadly, that version of Gleyber Torres is long past us, but that doesn't mean that he still wouldn't provide a lot of value to the Toronto Blue Jays. The Sporting News writes, however, in hopes of drawing closer to New York before next season, Joel Reuter of Bleacher Report predicts the Blue Jays will sign Yankees free agent second baseman Gleyber Torres this winter. The best part of going out and getting Gleyber Torres, in my opinion, is that doing so shouldn't limit you at all in any other aspect of free agency. Spotrac currently has Torres pegged for a 3-year, $21 million contract, and to put that in perspective, the average annual value that he would be getting paid would be significantly less than what the Jays had signed Kevin Kiermaier for last year. If the Blue Jays, instead of getting Juan Soto, went out and picked up Anthony Santander, Gleyber Torres, and then maybe a couple other different pitchers, maybe one for the rotation, a couple guys in the bullpen, I still think that that would be a very successful offseason. Time will obviously tell, but with the winter meetings just a couple weeks away, you can expect some moves to happen very soon. But folks, that is the latest Toronto Blue Jays news and updates as it pertains to free agency. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, go Jays, go!